Okay, I'm with Peter today outside Keynsham offices of B&NES, and Peter is a deputy manager in the social services.
Yes, yeah, and the alternative care team.
And Peter, you're on strike for 3 days, and you've told me that over a year ago you contacted the senior managers, the senior officers at B&NES, the chief executive, the leader of council and the head of HR, and you had a meeting with them because you were concerned about Being Our Best programme and what Corn Ferry were doing in B&NES and how you didn't think that would work. Can you tell me why no one's listened to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was May last year, so it was a year ago, and I was sending emails out to lots of people, in particular councillors, and it was I sent an email to Kevin Callahan, to another one of the Lib Dem councillors. So Kevin arranged this meeting without warning me what it was. So called me into a meeting with the chief executive and with the head of HR. So that was Will Godfrey at the time and Sherry Bennett. And for me to share my concerns. And what I raised with him in that meeting a year ago is that the impact of the Being Our Best programme would affect the culture, and that culture shift was going to have a negative impact on children's services and on the culture that we've developed. And that's exactly what we've seen, is that actually the culture now has got to a point where we can't function in the same way anymore, and the grading system isn't working.
Okay.
And so why they're not listening, I don't know. I think that they're worried that it will reflect badly on the Being Our Best programme, which they've tried to implement.
And the Being Our Best programme is clearly something that was written by a company called Corn Ferry, but what I'm hearing is that the system that's being delivered here for your social work structure is not one that is being delivered anywhere else across England in other similar organisations. So the impact of that is quite serious, that they're deciding to put in a system, they're telling everybody they can't change the system, whereas there is nowhere else in the country that is delivering such a programme.
That's right. So it's not just the Hay evaluation model, the Corn Ferry system that they've used, it's how they're choosing to apply it. So they are choosing not to use role profiles in terms of social work management, which they could, and they have left us on role profiles that don't match the jobs that we do, which means that as a deputy team manager, I am supervising. For me, it's only one senior practitioner, some it's more, but a senior practitioner who's on the same pay grade as I am. And it's not just about the pay, but actually in terms of management oversight, management decision, management responsibilities, and that reporting hierarchy, which is actually really important in social care, that actually doesn't work, and it's against the council's own policies. But they're refusing to change that. But they could. There are ways that they could not have to get rid of the Hay evaluation model. They could choose to apply it differently, and HR could choose to apply it differently, which they're choosing not to do in this instance.
Okay, so I understand that you've called for HR to essentially re-examine that, and their response is?
Their response is no, that they can't do that. They have what they will actually say is they have re-examined it, and that the scores, so it's all about scoring your responsibility, has come out the same. That's at odds with independent scoring that we've done through Unison with people who are Hay evaluation trained, who've also looked at it and said that's impossible, because they're saying that the experience levels of a deputy team manager and a senior practitioner are exactly the same. But that's not true. On average, deputy team managers have been social workers for 10, 12, 15 years. Senior practitioners may have only been social workers for maybe 4 or 5 years at most when they usually step into that level. But the scoring is the same, and so they're saying they've evaluated it. In reality, we're saying that either the evaluation doesn't work or they are actually evaluating it wrong and choosing not to progress us to the correct grade.
Okay, and let's reiterate this again. No other local authority is delivering what they are trying to deliver.
That's right.
Okay,
yeah.
And the other thing that you've told me today from other people here is that 2 members of the staff officers are going on long-term sick leave, that you're losing staff, and that there is just generally a sense that nobody wants to be working in this environment anymore. And I guess then that impacts the wider community of who you serve, and you don't like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you were saying before, there is no other local authority we can find where senior social workers and their managers are on the same pay grade. That doesn't exist. And that is for a reason, because we carry the weight of the team. It's not just about our understanding and our expertise, but it's actually about how we lead those teams. And it's our job to look after the well-being of our staff, and our staff are on the front lines working with the most vulnerable families. So if we can't do our job properly because we're not being supported to do it, actually it's our workers who are impacted, and then ultimately it's the children and families that are impacted, and this is the last thing that we wanted. But actually we're making this stand because we know that if it doesn't change now, it'll be even worse in the long run. We have to make a difference now before it gets worse.
So this is no longer therefore an operational issue, it's a political issue, because it's impacting how public money is spent,
Yep.
and spent well to deliver services for local people.
Yep.
And that's not acceptable.
No, it's not. And as a result of the smarter structures and being our best program, they're bringing in external senior managers and project leads within children's services, and spending public money to do that, because they have to implement changes, not just Families First ones, which are national government ones, but smarter structures, the being our best program within B&NES. And they're using that public money to try and do that, but their hands are tied because they can't do it properly, because they haven't got the grading structure correct. So they're wasting public money at the moment. And this is all coming, I've said this, we have all said this very openly, and we know that Kevin Guy, that the Lib Dem councillors are aware of this. We haven't seen our Paul May, our councillor for Children's Services, at all. We emailed him, the cabinet member. We've invited him. He's not come down. We haven't seen Kevin Guy. We haven't heard anything from them. But this has been their decision. They've overseen this, and they have been fully aware of these concerns from the beginning. But they are making no noise about any support, and if anything, they're just trying to criticise us and make it look like we're demanding more money. It's not about money.
It's about having a better structure, and serving your community well, and spending money well.
Yeah, it's about safety and about a culture of support within our teams, which allows us to do our jobs properly.
Okay, well, really thank you for pointing lots of things out today, and I hope that the senior team of both the administration and the officers, Sophie Broadfield and Kevin Guy, listen to you and rectify this as quickly as possible, because it is no longer acceptable.
Thank you, Joanna. Appreciate that.